A lot of people say this house is evil. I think the house is a portal. There's a portal in this house that someone opened at one time or another, and something very, very negative has come in and has influenced people to commit suicide, hence becoming evil. There is evil in this house. I don't necessarily think it was born of evil, but I think something evil came in here and is controlling many spirits in this house. I think it's very unusual that the house is built in the shape of a cross, number one. Number two, the amount of actual deaths that are associated with this house, inside the house specifically. Gruesome deaths as well. One of the most bizarre deaths that took place on this property and actually in the house was a man who was eaten alive by his own hogs, drugged back into the house where he soon bled out and died.
Was Willows Weep really built to attract evil spirits?
Some of the interesting aspects of this house include numerous factual deaths, 3, possibly 4 by suicide. The house is built in the shape of a cross, and in all 4 corners of that cross, originally there was 4 entrances and exits as to funnel in energy. Above those entrances and exits, there are 4 points built into the structure itself, almost like a pentagram shape, seeming to point to the middle of the house. Directly in front of the house, there's a crossroads. So if you know anything about the devil in the crossroads story, that's another interesting aspect of this property. Still yet another bizarre story of someone being injured here at the Willows Weep house. Local maintenance man was mowing the grass here in the front of the yard. Brenda in the back, the former owner, the mower stopped running. She wondered why, so she came around the side of the house to check on the maintenance guy, and he was laying right here with his back up against the corner of the porch, where he was rushed to the hospital, and it was determined that he had a fractured back. Now, what had transpired right before that was Brenda had told him not to mess with the willow tree because of all the stories of tempting fate with this tree. Well, he had moved some of the branches out of his way to cut, and then suddenly was thrown from the lawnmower, injuring his back severely. Another bizarre story from the Willows Weep house was that Brenda and a local maintenance man were working on the house, painting the high area there. They didn't have a ladder that was high enough, so they pulled a pickup truck there up next to the house, put the ladder in the truck so they could reach that area to paint. Well, the maintenance man was up on top painting while Brenda was holding the ladder. All of a sudden, the ladder just was shoved backwards and he hit the ground approximately 15 to 20 feet in height, and he was messed up big time, knocked the breath out of him. She said, what happened? She was checking on him. He was okay, but he had the breath severely knocked out of him. And she said, what happened? And he said, I saw a woman rush at me in my mind's eye and say, get the F out of my house. Feeling perturbed at this point because Brenda had experienced so many things, she got mad, so well, I'll do it, puts the ladder back in the truck, and as she gets up on the ladder starts shaking uncontrollably, and she had to get down as well, with no explanation as to why the ladder was shaking as it was. One of the other interesting features of this house is in the original floor plans, there was a staircase shown. However, no staircase has ever been located within the house. It's either been sealed up, never built, and the only way you can get into the attic area is through the outside window, which is very bizarre. One crazy account told to me by the former owner was that they were having a party here with friends and family, and one of the 3-year-old little nieces was here, and they all saw her waving at the window here. Wondering who they're waving at, they run out and ask her, who are you waving at, honey? She says, that little girl in the window right there. They said, what little girl? We don't see any little girl. She said, the one right there. Well, thinking that it was just a child's imagination, they all went back in the building. And within a few minutes or less, the little girl starts screaming bloody murder, and they run out and said, what happened, what happened? And she said, the little girl came down from the window and bit me on my face. Well, not knowing what happened, They thought it was her imagination, but shortly thereafter, they noticed a human bite mark appear on the little niece's face. She was 3 years old.